Let's bring in Congressman August Pfluger, a Republican from Texas, also a member of the House Homeland Security Committee. Congressman, good morning to you. Your committee did the investigation. Tell us why you've decided to move forward with these articles of impeachment against the DHS secretary.
Well, thank you for having me, and I take no pleasure in talking about this because what we actually want is just a secure border. But when you look at the egregious nature of what this administration has done under the leadership of Secretary Mayorkas, who took an oath of office, by the way, to protect and defend the Constitution, you're talking over 8 million people illegally in this country, over 300 who matched the terror watch list that we know about, 100,000 deaths from fentanyl. And so our articles of impeachment, by the way, which I think could have been done as early as last year and even before, because we've been talking about this for so long. They're very simple. The articles are very simple. Article 1 says that there's a willful and systemic refusal to follow the law. That's the Immigration and Nationality Act. And Article 2 says that there's a breach of public trust, what you just heard. Those two are very simple, but they factually outline the refusal of Secretary Mayorkas to keep our country safe. And Article 4 of the Constitution very clearly says it is the federal government's responsibility to protect all states from an invasion. That's exactly what's going on here. We do have an invasion, and they've refused to keep us safe.
Congressman, walk us through the timing, because Peter mentioned at the end of his report that Speaker Johnson wants to vote on it soon. Does this have to pass out of a committee, or is it ready for a floor vote? Where do you see this going?
That's right. We will actually, the Homeland Security Committee, get together on Tuesday, and we will mark the articles up. So that means that there could be, probably language change that doesn't really change the two articles that I just mentioned, but talking about the exact ways in which the secretary violated the law and the ways that he misled Congress. We're talking about detention of illegal aliens, the parole of illegal aliens, his mass catch and release scheme. That's going to happen on Tuesday. And then we expect a vote on the House floor, hopefully as early as Wednesday or Thursday. That will be up to the Speaker and the leadership.
Congressman, I'm just looking here. I think we might have some of this we can put up on the screen. I'm not sure, so I'm asking the producers at the same time. Key quotes from the draft of what you guys have put together. And you did lay out the various stages where you say Mayorkas has failed the law, to implement the law as passed by Congress. What this seems to come down to is a policy by an administration embraced and then executed by Mayorkas, but embraced that is in violation of congressional law. And it's some of what you described is up on the screen now, Article 2 of the impeachment drafts. Alejandro Mayorkas knowingly made false statements. This is about what he said to Congress, that the border is secure. The border is no less secure than it was previously, that the border is closed and the DHS has operational control of the border. That's pointing out lies that you're holding, he told Congress.
That's exactly right. And, it's just so egregious. The numbers are egregious. The impact on our communities, not just Texas. I mean, I'm sitting 2 hours from Eagle Pass right now doing this interview. But it's not just the numbers. It's not just the impact on Texas. It's the impact on every single state. And then his attempt to mislead not just Congress, but the American public in saying that they have operational control of the border, which we all knew from the very first day that they were in office was false. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a hearing. Secretary Mayorkas was sitting next to Director Wray. And I asked Director Wray a simple question. I said, are there people who match the terror watch list that you know about who've entered this country that are still at large? And he said, yes. And then I asked Mayorkas, who was sitting directly next to him, I said, is it your policy to detain anyone who matches the terror watch list? And he couldn't answer that question in the affirmative. This is why we're going through the impeachment trial, because obviously somebody who matches a terror watch list should immediately be detained, should immediately be deported, or done, something needs to be done with them to protect the American citizens from some sort of terror act. It's that type of behavior that has happened for 3+ years and resulted in almost 9 million people illegally in our country, many of whom have desires to do bad things in this country, right, criminally or on a terror aspect.
Right. We just don't know who they are. But what would you say to somebody who says your fight shouldn't be with Alejandro Mayorkas, it should be with President Biden, and he's just following orders?
Well, it's a great question, and I'll tell you that Jamie Comer and Jim Jordan have that fight with him right now. They're looking at what the president has done, and that case is actually much bigger than just protecting the border. So right now our focus has to be on a secretary who has taken an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. And I guarantee you that Chairman Comer and Chairman Jordan are looking at the president in many other aspects of his failure to keep our country safe.
Here's one more quote from the impeachment articles. Again, these are brand new. We just received them here at Fox and Friends. It says this. Throughout his tenure as Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro N. Mayorkas has repeatedly violated laws enacted by Congress regarding immigration and border security. In large part because of his unlawful conduct, millions of aliens have illegally entered the United States on an annual basis, with many unlawfully remaining in the United States. His refusal to obey the law is not only an offense against the separation of powers in the Constitution of the United States, it also threatens our national security. You've reiterated a lot of that as well. You know, we've heard Democrats speak a lot more about the border. A lot of it's because an election year is coming. Do you think any Democrats will vote for this impeachment, or do you think this will be almost all Republicans?
That's a great question, and I sure hope they do. I hope that there are Democrats from Texas, especially those that are on the border, that know the damage that's being done to our communities, that will have the courage to stand up. This is not just a policy fight. This is an actual refusal to enforce the laws that are already on the books. These Democrats know that. I really hope that they have the courage to do the right thing, because it has hurt. It's hurt every American, not just Republicans. This has hurt Democrats too. That is why you see many Democrats in South Texas and along the border region switching from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party, because they don't trust this administration and they don't trust Alejandro Mayorkas.
All right, Congressman August Pfluger of Texas, thanks so much for being with us this morning as these articles of impeachment are released. We're glad to have you to highlight exactly what's been done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.